Yeah, so how's everyone else doing? Like the what's what's been the vibe for this week, for this weekend? It looks
It is
gorgeous out there,
gorgeous.
Laurie.
Yeah, looks beautiful.
It does. It does.
Oh,
Very nice.
oh,
Oh,
the close line.
Flowers, trees. I love trees.
oh my gosh, gorgeous.
Oh my goodness.
Is that a solar panel behind you?
There?
Yeah.
No, it's the greenhouse, but
Yeah.
it's reflecting the sun because
Oh,
you have still like water from the morning.
mhm.
Dew.
You
Yeah, dew. Yeah.
Yeah.
beautiful.
Mm.
Either way, it's translucent, transparent.
Mm.
Were you about to speak, Mac?
Yeah. At the weekend, I did two performances, dance performances, 20 minutes. I managed to do it. Legs felt like lead, and I did as much as I could. And I was just amazed that I was doing it because I'd been missing dance so much, and I was invited to this the rehearsals and then the performance at the weekend, which was wonderful.
That's
Feeling very
incredible.
tired now.
Oh my goodness. Do you happen to have any videos or like pictures from
Um, I guess there will be. This is for a company called Independent Dance, and it's trained and untrained dancers. It's disabled people and non-disabled people all working today together. So there's some wheelchair users, and it's called Wheel C. Um,
I
yeah,
love That's so good.
yeah, yeah. If I can find some videos, I'm sure I can on their site.
That would
What
be
style of dance did you perform?
It's a contemporary dance, and it was very simple movements because um, you have people with learning difficulties, so you kind of had to incorporate so very simple movements, and there was some improvisation as well in some parts. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun, and yeah, it was fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, I thought about you a lot, Mac, over the weekend at our Irish Fest because there was Irish dancers that did like the clogging. Um, yeah, it was just really fun, and I was just imagining that there's probably crossovers between Irish culture and Scottish culture.
There is a crossover
Yeah,
because yeah,
yep,
yeah, there is a crossover.
yeah,
Yeah,
like some of the traditional
yes,
kinds of
yes,
things.
there is a crossover.
Yeah. Yeah, I did learn something new this weekend, though. Apparently, in Ireland, they don't really serve corned beef. It's like an American Irish thing. And I was like, oh, well, who knew?
Well,
Or do you know?
we do have it in Scotland, and I must say I really do not like corned beef, and I don't like corn. I'm not a red meat person generally, and like ham sandwiches I can just about eat, and but corned beef, oh my God, no thank you,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
me.
Well, you would not like been at my house on Thursday and Friday last week because I literally cooked 80 pounds of corned beef in my house.
Oh my God.
It smelled like a corned beef factory wafting like aromas of Guinness.
Well, I would say, well, for those who enjoy it, please enjoy, but please not for me.
Yeah.
Corned beef. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I remember going to my grandfather's, my aunt's house, um, and for part of my summer holidays, and my grandfather had made potted meat. And I was eating, well, I really didn't like it. I really didn't like it. But then he kind of told this story of being a prisoner of war and
Oh
having
my
to
goodness.
eat potato peelings and things like that. And
Yeah.
I was kind of like, okay, I'll eat it. And I was like, eating this thing. But what was beautiful, I never had it again when I went to stay with them. They knew I didn't like it. And my mother's, my Aunt Frances said to my mum, she didn't really like it. My mum said, no, she doesn't like anything like that. So I never had it again, which was really lovely.
Yeah,
I
that's a
really appreciated that.
yeah.
yeah. My grandparents were German. They're both passed on now. And so they used to make things like lutefisk, which is like a really smelly fish marinated in vinegar, I think. I don't know. It's really gross. I think it's gross. And head cheese, which is like a
That's good.
part. Oh, oh, I know. I did the same thing. I actually remember having a sensory overload, like from the smell and the visual of it. And like, I remember my parents saying to me that I was being too sensitive. I was making a big deal out of it. It's just like to bring us into our conversation today. Yeah. And I do think that it was one of those sensory that we've wove with before, because it was the smell, and I can still sometimes smell it today. Like when I tell the story, just a hint of it, it was really visceral. And like I went and threw up. And so I had my grandparents didn't make me eat it again, but my grandpa was like made a lot of comments, and then my grandma would kind of like try to, oh, just let her be, it's not for everybody, and he was kind of from that generation that he told a lot of stories about his suffering. And so like in that framework of like, I suffered so much, and so you should be grateful for this really gross thing. Anyway.
Yeah. My grandfather was a prisoner of war, and he eventually was put out to this farm, German farm, and the farm owner treated him really well.
Hmm.
And as we tried to trace who this farmer was, but we have not been able to find it. But we just want to say thank you for treating our grandfather as a prisoner of war really well, yes, which was lovely.
Head cheese is a lot though. That's like really intense to be like,
I
oh.
know. I was young too, and it's weird how visceral I still remember that story, and that not the story, the experience, like the.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Luckily, people kind of have moved away from making head cheese, or at least maybe there's an older generation that still makes it.
I do like it, but
Oh, yeah.
my grandmother was doing it, but not with the head. She took the leg parts to
Uh-huh.
be, but it
Yeah.
was so good. The spices the blend that she used, it was so good. I'm actually at the opposite end of your of your feeling about this because for me it's comfort. It's like, oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that wild? I love our diversity for that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It also makes me wonder about the kinds of experiences. I don't know. For whatever reason, green beans keeps coming up this year. Like I just keep hearing people um having making it different ways. And like the version that I remember growing up with was like soggy, like flavorless from the can. And then more recently, it's been like farm fresh that they like snap and like adding garlic and a bunch of herbs and stuff. Like that, okay, cute. Um, that is a completely different experience than the one that I grew up with. And I know that so many people it have that as like their first experience too, and then they think that green beans are just disgusting. Like that's
Mhm.
like universally what they are. And I'm
Yes.
not saying that that's like what your experience could be with head cheese, but just like in the sense that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, lots of food, if it's not cooked well, tastes
Yeah.
completely awful.
Yeah.
And my mother was not a good cook. My father was an excellent cook and baker, but my mum wasn't.
Mhm.
Um, she got by. She
Yeah.
did. Mm.
I just got
I
a
w
bunch of vegetables from our farmer market. We have a really thriving Hmong community here. So they grow some Asian vegetables that are a little bit different than like at our other farmer markets. There's just different vendors. And so this one on Wednesday over here. And so I got yellow beans and I got radishes that kind of look like a thumb. They're like
Oh,
really small and pink.
yeah.
Then I got golden beets, which are the yellow
Mm.
beets. Um, what else did I get? I did get some cucumbers, but I didn't put that in the blend. But I pickled them just like in the refrigerator, not heating up the cannery and that whole process, just did it in the fridge. They were great. They turned out amazing. Yeah, super yummy. It only took like about 36 hours for them to absorb all the flavor. Yeah, I mean, the longer they'll go, they'll taste more dilly and more garlicky, but yeah, yeah. I was never really pickled beans or radishes or beets before. I pickled cucumbers, but yeah, so that was fun
That sounds
to
delicious.
make them a different way. Yeah, yeah. I actually pickled them because I want to take them down to the fest because I usually give myself permission to eat all the food down there because I don't normally eat that kind of food, but every week, every year, I feel terrible.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
like, why am I giving myself permission to have a treat that actually makes me feel shitty?
True.
So I was like, maybe the treat is something that actually doesn't make me feel like crap. So I brought the pickled vegetables instead
That's so smart.
as a treat. And it worked. Yeah, I felt a lot better. Like my gut felt a lot better, not eating all that different kinds of greasy fried food and yeah, things I don't normally eat.
Yeah, that sounds like it's really in line too with like ADHD and some of the gut issues that kind of arise with neurodivergence. It's like,
Yeah. And justifying the dopamine.
yeah, exactly.
Like I've been going to this festival. I've been doing this volunteering gig for like this is my seventh year. So like it took me 6 years to realize that I don't need to have the dopamine rush of this food and like the festival and the smells that I normally give, to like so this jar I used like a 2 quart jar. It's like really big. And so all the different colors and then the herbs. And so I kind of layered it so it would be really pretty. And then I kept shaking it and like to get it to marinate. So that was actually turned out to be kind of a dopamine thing because every time I walked by it at home before I took it down there, like or opened the fridge, I was like, oh my God, that's so pretty. Give it a little shake. And it was like the thing that kept me kind of excited about like staying with that commitment rather than getting down there and getting sucked into this same thing I do every year. So
Oh my God, I have chills because
Felt
like
like that was a huge thing for an ADHD person, honestly.
that.
Only took me, 6 years to figure that out, but here we are.
I mean, the other thing that it reminds me of is like when they would have festivals around the dolmens or like the like erected stones, and they would like go out and ferment things like with each other. And oh man, even the Guinness piece that you were bringing up, like that's um like they would ferment things in a way that would it could also produce like small amounts of alcohol. So it was like, you know, in many ways, some of the different things that we still do, like we don't realize where it really came from, but it's like all all in there.
Mhm.
That's really cool. It's also kind of like witchy in my mind. Like that's like the um what is it? Like programming or it kind of reminds me of Emoto's like water experiments where you're like blessing it every time you come by and being like it's so pretty.
Yeah. I say to my water, thank you, thank you, thank you, and I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. If I'm drinking it, yeah, yeah. Leaving it out in the sun in a blue bottle apparently is meant to be very good as well for an hour.
Mm, I
Has to
didn't
be
know that.
blue.
Gotcha. Blue's pretty anyway.
Yeah,
Mhm. We're
love
putting
blue.
those in your water to cleanse them, purify.
Are there certain ones that you're not meant to? Is it like generally quartz or something?
Quartz, yeah.
Mhm.
I've got quartz in mine, yeah.
Yeah.
Clear quartz.
I think quartz and maybe a little small one of rose quartz, like just a small little chip.
Mm.
Mm.
How was your weekend, Lori?
It's been it's been a funny time because I kind of have been feeling um restricted in my energy, and it's been a while. It's been almost a year now, or a year and a half. And as I said, I don't know if it's here or in other call, that I feel kind of restricted of what I can see kind
Yeah.
of for the future. And I I don't know what shifted. Is it the planets or just myself? But there was some kind of shift happening in the last week for me. It's kind of like I've had um something heavy lifted. I don't know how I don't have words for it yet because I'm still through this, but I have been able to um change some parts of my daily routine that I wanted to do, but I was I didn't have the energy of just igniting the change. And I stopped going to the gym like in September of last year, and I have done no sports and no regular movement until then. And so it has contributed like to keeping me stiff and stuck kind of in my body. But it's like I had to stop it. I don't know. It's just one morning I went there, and it made no sense that I was there. And I did CrossFit for 4 or 5 years almost, like on a regular basis, very regularly. And I just stopped one day without knowing why, but I knew I just had to trust like this call that I had, but it made no sense. And it made no sense that I had the year after just not wanting to or having the energy to start something else, another discipline or and it has been like a great pressure for me. And I didn't have, and I have spent years and years of researching. Like always like tried to find like what is the right diet for me, for my body, and what is the right exercise, and all that comes to the taking care of my body properly. It's a big thing for me. So this year of being like very stopped and stiff and stuck, it it's kind of being lifted right now. So it's very organic, I would say, because I just found a routine that I happen to be doing like in the morning sun outside, and it's like 12 minutes, 15 minutes, and it's very easy, and it just gets me going for the day. But I wanted to do that for the last year, but I kind of didn't have what it took. And so there was some minor changes that I did in the last week that brought me a lot of energy. Ah, so it's it's kind of curious for me that why is it happening now? I don't know. Is it something that I accepted that not knowing, not doing in regards to just accepting? I don't know, but I changed also things in my diet, but not in a big way. It's like I'm not hungry. So-
Yeah.
Could it be to do with the Lionsgate and the eclipse,
Oh,
that
I,
window?
yeah,
There's a
I
lot of
know.
changes
Yeah,
been happening.
I know something big happened, but I didn't happen to be like aligned consciously with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I didn't put any intentions in this portal or anything, but I don't know, something definitely clicked, but we'll see if it if it continues, if it stays, if but for now I feel like for the past 2 days I feel very um cognitively more present, more uh quick in my mind. So yes, it might be the start of like going back on something creative, but I just I honor I try to honor the path instead of just wanting to run towards the end. But when I don't see what's coming, it's kind of hard to. It's like every day I don't know which way to go, what am I supposed to do? It's kind of disorienting because I have been used to follow this quite loud guidance that was in my belly, but it's kind of muted. It's been muted for a while, so yeah. So that's about it.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Mm.
I resonate really deeply with that. I also stopped um like my normal regimented like routines with regard to both eating and exercise. And honestly, like some of the stuff that I've been learning about plasma, like dynamics and energetics and stuff, and the way that it corresponds with the planetary energies, and even just like some of the, um, I mean, whatever you want to call it, like the collective awakening, the 2027, like whatever changes, it's like that's kind of what it feels like is um, able to be received more readily when you're clear, when you're not like trying to adhere to those types of practices. If that makes any sense. At least like that's kind of how I've been interpreting it, which might be my own like
Mhm.
layers, filters or whatever. But um yeah, it's been really cool. And even just like adapting and adjusting and noticing the different responses. Like this weekend I went to a graduation party for my cousin and like her and her grandmother spent a bunch of time like putting desserts together and like there's nothing that tempts me more than like there's on the one hand it's like the sweets or whatever and honestly like I used to have a really big sweet tooth and it's completely gone like I it doesn't bother me at all but the fact that they were homemade and that like she made macaroons and mac I don't know if you pronounce it differently, but like both kinds, the ones that are with the coconut and the like whipped egg white version. And she spent so freaking long on them. And she um ended up putting them in the fridge the weekend before uh and her dad moved them and they all got crushed. And like that for one thing, it was like, yeah, it was like heartbreaking. Like for her, she was crying and everything. But like for me, it was like, I could really help out by by eating those. It's like, you know, have the appreciation be there even like in the perfection of the imperfection and all of that. It's like, um, but I mean, I was trying to be like somewhat aware without, casting judgment or being like, you have to eat it like this, or like you can't be eating this, and like this is gonna make you feel bad. And it's like I'm gonna enjoy whatever it feels is like coming up for me in the moment. And it was cool, it was fun. And I got to even talk to my cousins about some interesting dietary decisions too. Like, oh my goodness. My cousin, one of them, he was eating raw eggs at the table. He was
Wow.
like trying to get his protein. Oh my goodness. Because like he has like a sensitivity to the texture, like, especially like the way that his mom was making them. And she's like, she was admitting that like she doesn't spend a lot of time, taking in like how to cook eggs well or whatever. So, um, yeah, part of me was like, I wonder if you could just like try different recipes or do different things with it and maybe he'll like it better. But he was opting for raw because that was easy for him.
Your your story about the meringues reminds me of a dessert called Eton mess.
Eaten mesh.
Apparently, a meringue dish with strawberries and cream was brought to Eton, and somehow it all got mashed.
Oh no.
And so now they call it Eton mesh. So it's yes, tastes delicious, but it's not, beautifully presented, with the peaks and all of that business. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a dessert ice cream person, cake. Oh wow. Yes.
Yeah, same.
Do you
Especially homemade.
flow with your desire for sugar and or other type things? Like I notice for me right now, I'm in a not craving sugar at all.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but like 6 months ago, I was craving sugar like throughout the day.
Yeah.
I've also noticed that sometimes I'm more sensitive to sugar. Like I'll either get a little hyper or sometimes I'll even like crash. Um,
It's a depressant.
yeah, yeah.
I
I've
have
also, yeah, noticed a little dip. Sometimes if I over sugar for days in a row, I'll notice like my sleep gets thrown off, like I get darker circles under my eyes.
yeah, your liver.
Also notice with fried food and salt, I tend to if I eat too much, and it's more like a cumulative, so it has to be kind of like not just one day of it necessarily. Um, I mean, I guess I notice it, but it usually, like if I drink a bunch of water the next day, it kind of flushes itself out. But I have noticed that the fried food and salty kind of that family, I tend to experience more anxiety
Yeah.
during that like craving time. Um, I'm best when I'm in the middle, when I'm not craving either, when I'm just kind of in the middle. But sometimes it's a little tricky to figure out what that middle path is. Um,
That's kind of what I've been experimenting with lately because all of those signals are our body actually communicating with us about like what it needs. And like when you're craving the salty, greasy stuff, usually it's because your microbes are craving fermented food. And like you can obviously have the fermented stuff, but you could also do like when you're in a situation where you need something quick, like seltzer water, for example, something like that, like it helps curb it. It's like that's kind of what I've been trying to do is like not necessarily trying to trick my body because like that's never going to work. It's like trying to force it to adhere to certain things. I mean, it works and then it doesn't. But like even when it comes to ice cream and like dairy and stuff like that, like fermented dairy is great, especially things like kefir. El Ruderai is something that I've been experimenting with, which like most people have completely gotten like eradicated from their guts because of antibiotics and modern food practices and stuff like that. But it's like one of the ones that produces oxytocin and helps with social bonding and stuff like that. So that's been interesting. And then just like being aware of, you know, sometimes what is happening when you're craving something like ice cream, it's like the high fat content is like what your body really wants to experience. And like you can have that in so many different ways. It's like it doesn't necessarily have to be ice cream. And then when it comes to like the sugar cravings, I notice that for myself when I don't get enough sleep, like the sugar cravings kind of skyrocket. But it's like as soon as like if I listen to myself and just like allow my like the fuel to come in, like to fuel my body in whatever way is like supportive and nurturing, then like the sugar craving will kind of subside. But if I go straight for what, you know, it's saying, like eat a bunch of sugar, it's like um that spike like kind of like has downstream effects. It's like now you need even more sugar because like that was actually stripping um like the like sometimes what happens is that your body actually has to use more material in order to incorporate or to like deal with the downstream effects of having refined sugars instead of something like a fruit or whatever. It's like because it is so high in calories, it's like, you know, your body's kind of it's like that'll be the thing. It'll solve the problems. Like, no, it won't.
yeah, I have a little, and I want to say trick, but I've actually been doing it for years, so it's not really a trick. It's actually just a maintenance thing that I do that works really well for me. When I crave sugar, I eat raw butter,
Mhm.
and the sugar craving goes away.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah. And I like
I'm
butter. I don't mind eating, just take a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I usually try to buy good butter too, if I can find it here.
Is it local?
isn't
Sorry. Is it local butter?
It's not, well, yes and no. I mean, it's local-ish. It's not right from this town, but it's in our area, like 50 miles.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It is.
But they don't always have it. So it sells out pretty quickly because it comes in like a big, huge, like log.
Yeah.
And when I was getting raw milk, I was making my own butter. And I have made butter on my own just with half and half here. But yeah, the raw butter or the raw milk, it's like $14 a gallon here. So it's,
Pretty steep.
yeah. And then
At
there's
least it's legal.
like, yeah, it is. You have to drive there to pick it up and then bring it home. So they can't like distribute it, but they can sell it out of their creamery. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Doing that because it's like a 40-minute drive to go get it. And then I was getting like 8 half gallons at a time because for 40-minute drive there and back, I was like, well, I'd like to get a low, like a nice supply. Um, yeah. So that's probably what I would prefer, but sometimes my time and my finances don't allow me to like
Hmm.
engage in that the way that I would like to consistently. But I appreciate that it's there and that I can utilize it. Yeah.
It's interesting, this food thing, because there was a time I ate really what's supposed to be really healthy, and then I started just following what my body wanted. And if that was ice cream 3 days in a row, I would have ice cream, and sometimes ice cream for my meals, and I would have it. And not only the last time that happened, I'm bringing up ice cream in particular, it's partly that I really like it, but it was also that I've been doing the Sage Retreat, and it was relevant to the time period, particularly the IQ. So that is what 14 to 21 around. And it was the time I started overeating on a regular basis, and then due to grief that I wasn't able to express, even although I sublimated, I've got that word right this time, even though I was doing creative things, I started bulimia because at that time I hated myself, and it brought me back to that time, and it was a kind of bringing back that memory and helped me to reconsider. So that's another level of what food can do. And so I've just been experimenting, and I'll go through certain foods for a certain amount of people, and then I just want to change and do something else. But apparently it goes in line with open taste and human design,
Oh,
which
wow.
is curious. And that for me, what my body needs and what I like is not necessarily what's deemed healthy. Now, whether that is true or not, but I've just been following it the last few years, and I've been enjoying it. So when I want chocolate, I will have chocolate,
Yeah.
or ice cream or whatever. But I was really interested in that correlation between the ice cream and the IQ. And when I started overeating because of stress and things at home, and then with grief, and I wasn't able to express it for a lot, I won't go into that. But yeah, yeah. So that was interesting. So it works in many different levels. And that was during the time when I was doing this dance and the time of the flying skate and of course the eclipse tonight in UK. So yeah, it's quite amazing. But I haven't done the research that you have done, Kiki. You always amaze me with all this, and Laurie with all these research. I mean, I do a certain amount of research and stuff, but I get to a certain point and go, that's enough. You know, it's boring now. Yeah.
Well, I can add I'm not gonna go deep because it's not mastered yet, but I have found a doctor and she speaks quantum in regards to health. And she goes back to when the zygote, like before the embryo, when the zygote produces kind of a light spark, and she hypothesizes that that's when the soul like gets into the cell kind of. And the link that she does with our bodies and the sun, because she speaks about light and like the the particles that we're made of, and she brings together like the importance of being exposed to light, and to take the sun codes, like the morning codes, and the dawn, is it the dawn?
Dust.
Dust, the dawn
Yeah.
and the dust. And by being exposed to these codes, it messages our cells in some kind of way to produce hormones. And it's not even, she's not even talking yet about vitamin D, which is on another spectrum, like it's like the UVs, and the dust and the dawn would be infrared. So I have been deep diving in this recently, and she's not the only one to talk about it, but it made sense because she's a decent teacher. And it's it's for me, it's so logical that we are an instrument that has to be synchronized with light. And it's also, I could just expand it, like the light in the food, the light in people, and the light just from the sun. But it, what I got from this is, with our lifestyles, it's like we used ourselves not to be able to respond to the signals, because we don't necessarily expose ourselves to regular uh nature or sun. Or so you might want, you might eat something that has very high energy content, like a raw fruit that you just picked, but your cells won't even get the message because they're doing something survival thing other.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, so so good food is not necessarily good for you, because if you're not able to just pick up the light that's in the food. It's Yeah, I'm still a fetus in these learning, but it's so interesting, because I've tried to figure out what is what is the thing that feeds me like in the right way.
Yeah.
So I'm energized, and I'm just healthy. And there there are so many, it's like their religions, like the diets, the lifestyles. There are so many, and they are all so good. And it's like, okay, so for me, what makes sense is just to understand how the body works. and and you can look at the liver, you can look at the microbiome, you can look at so many things. It's so complex. And I found like it's like you have a central point, and you have all the branches that work together as a system. But I feel like bringing down to the base, the origin, like the spark of light, it makes so much sense to me, just to come back from the origin, like from the start, how it came to life, how it came to life. I don't know how it will branch, how I will integrate all of this, but I just feel like it's very aligned to it makes sense. It makes so much sense. So it I didn't I will keep you posted on this, but yeah, I don't make I don't know everything about all what I'm speaking right now, but I it's just in the last week I feel like I have been energized just by this clicking of this not knowing, but that it all makes sense just to come back to the source of it. And that's the that's the thing I find it interesting in this doctor speaking is like she speaks about health and nutrition and like hormones, but she's like, okay, if you want to understand what I speak, just go read this book that I created, and the book is just basic biology and physics and quantum physics, and she explains like this spark, and I feel it's like, oh, it's so logical. It makes so much sense. It's like it's flowing in my body. And I don't know, maybe it's linked to the thing that I that I spoke previously. It's like if I cannot make sense of something, I feel that I cannot move in this system. And I don't know if it's to bring us back to our main subject. I don't know if it's a
Yes, it
neurospicy.
is. It is. It
It's
is.
like if I don't see the system, if I don't understand the system that I'm in, I cannot function. And I feel like I have been trying to understand the system forever, like how the body works. Is my body different than any other? From what I can experiment is like it's different because I have been doing these lifestyle choices all my life. So it's an individuated like um avatar. it, and it's like we're all the same, but we are all in a different place in health wise. So we have to treat it like individually, but we can we also kind of have some common ground like knowledge or so yeah, that's I think that's the spark. Is it the spark that it might even be the spark from my my new energy this week. It might have contributed, but yeah, it makes it when it makes sense, it's like it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's and it was like that in school when I was younger, and it was when my kids were in school, my two older kids, they went a little bit in school, and I was trying to be of not of service to them, but to make them feel good about what they were not feeling good in school. And I just happened to just see the whole system like where it didn't make sense. And I couldn't help it but just like homeschool them because it's like if it's and my system was not perfect at all in homeschooling, but it made sense for me. Like the values, like the base values in my system made more sense than the base values that I was seeing going through the school system. And there are all so many systems that we go through. It's like our body has so many it's like I could be schizophrenic if I would just
Take it all in at once.
take it all in at once.
Yeah.
All the systems that I see is like where I put my eyes. It's just it appears, and I think do you see like patterns and systems and
Fractals. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like the self-similarity at different scales is what has started to make sense for me, where like things are really like when you say click into place, like that's what it feels like, but it's like a visceral thing. It's like the as within so without
Yeah.
version. And I I really just want to info dump. I'm just like um I in the sense of like wanting to encourage you to go further down this path because I want your brain to like get a grasp of this and just like, be able to share like the amazing things that you'll be able to notice in yourself and in your family. And, you know, so like one of the things that the plasma research has kind of helped me with is like in this sense of um, what are we fundamentally? Like, like a human body is like, made up of cells and stuff, but there's like the micro components, the quantum mechanics that you were talking about. But like when they cohere, they start to form their own complex patterns and geometries, kind of like Mac has mainly been looking into. It's like the um, Platonic solids are like one way that we have labeled them, categorized them and stuff. But if you want to look at like crystallography and like the water, the way that that becomes coherent, like that's one example of like how plasma structures itself as well. And like currently what we're experiencing with the eclipse is like the sun, the moon, and the earth coming into alignment changes the energetics in the field around the earth. There's something called the Van Allen belts, which has to do with the electromagnetic field that the earth generates. But then, like, there's plasma that kind of like forms into its own structure. And there are two that we know of right now, but there used to be a third. And there were experiments done in the upper atmosphere that destroyed the third one. So interesting, especially with regard to how much plasma science isn't talked about, even though like it's an emerging, developing field. And then that being related to some of the Cold War stuff and, downstream effects and even like ADHD and autism, whatever. So then the Van Allen belts, the way that they actually interact with the energy that comes from the sun is they eat it. Like that is how they get their energy. And they are able to contain and cohere information to scales that are impossible to fathom. Like every single thing on Earth that has had a life can be contained and like basically held in the information that is out there in the Van Allen belts. So like the Akashic records, if you think about
Yeah,
that, like
that's what, yeah, that's I totally
what are
went
you
there. Yeah.
what are you tuning into there? And then when it comes to like light and electricity, like electricity is the electrons. That's the energy that comes from them. But then there's something called, I think, positricity, and it's the other end. It's like when the um positive ion,
Proton?
well, the
Right?
protons, but it's positive ions
Okay.
are able to be emitted by the sun, and that is what mainly what the Van Allen belts take in as food. So when it comes to like even some of the things that you might have heard about people who don't eat, who have
Mm-hmm.
gone without eating for long periods of time, one of the things that they say is that they're taking it in from the sun. But the other thing is like it's in the name. It's called breatharianism. Like they are in areas that have air quality that is conducive with life, which if you think about like even if you live near a road, even if you live near like golf courses, like other farms, like all that stuff, it's like they're spraying things, the tires are, it's like all of the downstream effects of that. And it's like it's not just the air. And this is where it goes back into like even the cultures that we're not aware are surrounding us. Like we have 6 feet of um, microbes that follow us around that have to do with our aura because the microbes are the ones that are producing light. like biophotons are emitted by these bacteria and viruses and fungi and all this stuff. It's like they are the ones that are enlivening us. Like we are 50% human cells, 50% like bacteria, fungi, viruses, all of this other stuff. And so like when it comes to like fermentation is like one small way that we can alter our gut, but it has to do with everything else. And like the thing that broke my brain earlier this year was a Canadian actually, and he was talking about how when he started learning about the differences between like dirt and soil, is like dirt is just soil without life in it. Like the microbes aren't there, and the microbes, like as they develop and work the soil and everything, they slowly develop more and more into like different things like nematodes and fungus and mycelium and all this other stuff. And it's like, if you think about it, one of the reasons why worms are so helpful for the soil is because they are transporting bacteria across different pathways. It's like when you think about humans, like if we're 50% like, non-human cells, we're kind of like worms that walk around. It's like we got legs. Oh my goodness. And then like even some of the things that I was talking about earlier with like the gathering sites that we used to have and like the lodestones and everything, like what we were kind of doing, and who knows, like maybe we're doing different versions of that now, but we were altering the geomagnetic field locally and having these, ceremonies where we were sharing cultures with each other to influence our own or biomechanic, like the fields that we have internally, and like altering the cultures of like the local sphere that we were in. So it was like our communities were cultured by these events. It's like imbuing, that livelihood into each other through that type of thing. And it's like, I don't know, I'm hearing bits and pieces of this in even Mac. I think you shared something last night that was like, we don't need another retreat center, like we can start creating like our own communities and stuff like that. It's like, and the Irish Fest, and yeah, I just, this is, my brain has been here for a while and I've just been like stewing with it.
And
Doing.
Yeah,
what
yeah,
when can you tell about because we entered eclipse season, I believe,
uh-huh.
and there are a few coming up. Were you about to talk about these energies of the eclipses?
Yeah, I mean the Leo has to do with like the creative spark, like literally like creation itself and the spark of life. Like the Leo sign, the symbol is a sperm, and it's got the little squiggle and everything. So it's like
And
literally,
it's ruled by the sun. So
yeah,
you're going to
exactly.
get a lot more intense sun codes through this eclipse too.
True.
Hmm.
And um usually you can have 2 to 3 eclipses within the season. I can double check on what this one will look like. But there's also what's it called? A planetary parade, which is where they've got I think it might be 5 or 6 planets that are visible. I think it's right after sunrise. It's Mercury is close to the sun, and then there's Mars, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn. There might be another one, but they that is like more of what's it called? Like physical astrology, like the ones that are really paying attention to what the sky looks like versus, looking at the archetypes and the symbols. That this is the other piece that we're still trying to cohere, where like astrology is currently changing. Like we have so much history that is being revealed, especially through AI and through different just like being able to intellectualize differently. I don't know. So like the Hellenistic astrology and our understanding of that is changing. They've got sidereal astrology, which is Vedic Indian astrology, and it's like that has to do with the actual like constellations themselves, the light that they're bringing from that. And like Hellenistic astrology has its basis in like the sharing of information from the Mediterranean and kind of like some of the misinterpretation of like but also it preserves some unique qualities that we've lost from not having the written material anymore. So yeah, there's like a lot of different things, but we'll see what ends up coming, because I think plasma, it coming onto the scene, has been changing things a lot too. And I don't know, I reached out to a bunch of astrologers a little while ago to see. I just need to follow up on that. If anyone's interested in researching more of the plasma dynamics. What was the other thing? I don't know. But I'm gonna pull up the eclipses chart. So we've got August. That's the 2027, that's why. Okay. August 12th, that's today. Total solar eclipse. So because it's directly it's using like it's directly conjunct the nodes is kind of what makes it a total versus like penumbral eclipse. And that means that the energy is a lot stronger. And the closer you are to Spain, which is like where the path is, the more of an impact it'll have on your biology, honestly. Because and this is where some of the other research that I've done, there's someone named Eileen McCusick. She does sound healing, and she said that you can actually detect where the planets were when you were born based on pockets of trapped energy in your auric field that like she can she can detect with using sound healing.
Amazing.
And, right? But then
Tuning
that
forks,
also,
even.
what did you say?
Tuning forks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tuning forks. Yeah.
The biofield, she
Yes.
calls. Yeah.
Yeah. And what that also points to, though, is that the planets, which in Vedic astrology, they refer to them as grahas, they're grabbers. Like the trapped energy is like a reference to the trauma that we
Mm.
are, you know, working out on our own as we're like incarnating and exploring life and everything. And so it's like, how can we release some of that energy? Like maybe we don't ever get to fully heal, but like I don't know, just like exploring different ways of doing that. So the planets inform us in some way. And then the 28th, there's a partial lunar eclipse, and that one is in Pisces. So I guess we're not fully done with the Virgo Pisces axis, but there's no third one. So it's just the solar and lunar eclipse this time around. Interesting. And it's at the final, oh no. It's at the final degree of Leo for this eclipse. And usually they just like when they talk about the anaretic degrees, which are like right before or after a new sign, it either has like the birth of that sign's like kind of like exploring and getting to discover all of the energy of that sign, or like at the end, like kind of encapsulating all of the wisdom, all of the meaning that comes through with that sign. So for this one, it'll be for both Leo and for Aquarius that we're kind of going to be able to. I've been hearing a lot of like being authentic, like that's been a really keyword. even this piece of integration that we were talking about yesterday and integrity. And like that to me sounds a lot like Leo. And then being able to share that with communities, groups, organizations, like even systems, I think is very much Aquarius. It's yeah, interesting stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. I attended a workshop once, and there was this guy, I can't remember where he was from, that was working with plasma. And he used it in some way to create these amazing gardens, and they really were really healthy. But also he was creating, they've actually got some plasma that I haven't actually used yet, but also made jewellery so you can wear it, and apparently it's very, very healing.
That's that's amazing. That's incredible. And was it
Yeah.
like tensor rings and things, maybe?
I can't remember. I really don't remember. And and I know I said I try and research, and I haven't done that yet, but I haven't forgotten. It's just on my list. Yeah, to find out who that is, because I can get access to the workshop because it's part of a soul space, it's called, that I group I'm in. So yeah,
Lovely. That's cool.
yeah, I think 2 pieces of jewelry. So one piece of jewelry, pieces of jewelry, and some plasma. Yeah.
I'm fascinated by it, though I haven't there's so much to tune into. But like, just allowing yourself to be moved by things. This is currently the book that actually Penny so gracefully, just like amazing. She got me. So it's like I'm making my way through that as we speak.
I'm just starting it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. You
started it. Yeah, yeah. I'm like weaning myself off my rabbit hole desire through podcasts, because honestly, I have gotten away from reading over the years with the ability to just use the podcasts as like yeah, so I'm excited and also like a little bit nervous. I feel like it's a huge commitment. I'm like, this is a big book.
yeah. Oh
Pace
man.
myself out.
Yeah. She does have a really ADHD friendly way of
Yeah,
writing and speaking though. So
yeah, yeah. I listened to those first three intro to the book. Yeah, yeah.
super.
I like her style is like you're talking, like you're having a conversation.
Yeah.
Yep. It's easy to digest. Yeah.
What's the book?
It's called A New Force.
A New
Maybe.
Forest.
Yeah.
Like Dana Kippel.
Maybe it would be a good idea to just give you a little sneak peek.
Sneak peek.
Yeah.
Yeah, and spelling the name. I'm dyslexic, remember?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
it's
kind of like
yeah, it's
it's kind of like the letters.
Kippel.
Say that again.
Kippel.
Yeah, yeah.
Kippel.
Kippel.
Kippel. Yep. And it's Dana. Dana.
All this,
Dana. Thank
all
you
this
so
time,
much.
all
Yeah.
this time you were talking about Dana Kippel?
Yeah, she wrote a book called The New Force, and it's about plasma.
Yeah, I know
Ooh.
about her. So you're saying that her book, I didn't read it. Her book is an easy read?
Yeah.
Almost?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Kiki's farther into it than I am, and I just started.
Oh, well,
Just
that's my
we
time.
could all, read it together, or I don't know. I'm assuming it's not on audiobook yet, but anyway, just throwing it out there.
It's
Maybe
not
it's
on she did those videos that
the
she made,
first
I
three,
think are the
yeah,
only
that she has available. That's what I kind of figured.
yeah.
Is
So
that is it these videos that you're or is
They're on
it
YouTube.
YouTube? Okay. Because I follow her on TikTok, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And
right. Okay.
I think it's like, are they about 90 minutes?
yeah.
The book ones? Yeah. She has other content too on YouTube, but she actually reads from her book. There's like three,
Oh, okay.
yep,
Oh, thank you sharing that.
not the whole book, but like the beginning, maybe, I don't know how far she gets in. Second chapter, third chapter, maybe
Yeah,
not.
something like that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um, Here, let me just read like a short little because you'll see kind of what her style is. So Plato introduced the five Platonic solids. That was something we're literally just talking about as geometric forms. He believed were the foundational structures of all reality. The dodecahedron, linked to aether or plasma, was considered so sacred that Plato barely spoke of it openly. Below are the shapes and what I believe they signify, at least on the surface for now. There's still so much to uncover here. This leads to why I believe plasma represents quintessence, or the fifth element, or maybe even more accurately, plasma consciousness. Synergy itself is the fifth element, humanity. Maybe we are the fifth element, the human star, just like in the movie The Fifth Element, where, spoiler alert, the protagonist, Lilo, turns out to be the great transmuter, the fifth element who can channel and harmonize all other elements. And then she goes into like quintessence and Neoplatonism. And there's this person named Asclepiadenia who where does she talk about it? She emphasized direct interaction, symbols, and rituals, believing that humans could actively ascend and draw divine energy down, rather than remain passive recipients of divine will. For her, theurgy wasn't merely a prayer, it was an active engagement with the forces of the universe. I thought that was really cool. She was a mystic and priestess in um, during like ancient Greece.
Mhm. Yeah, it reminds me of the elementals in like the airbender series, like the earthbenders and the waterbenders and the firebenders. And then they have Aang, who's like master of all the elements bending. But then later in uh the Korra series, remember they have the metal benders, and then they have, what's the other one? There's one other one that was really,
Lightning.
yes, 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 yeah.
That final battle between Azula and Zuko
Yeah,
was
yeah,
insane. So
yeah.
cool.
Well, it reminds me of the like the difference between channeling and like receiving this thing that moves through you, and the difference between that and like more of a quantum experience that you're actually interacting with what you're receiving at the same time you're receiving it.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
that's kind of the first word that came to me was like metal. It's like that's
What was it?
metal. It like feels uh musical in nature.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. Oh man, that just reminded me of like a video I was watching earlier that some woman created like pipes that were made out of crystal that you could just like move through the air and like they would play harmonics and stuff.
Mm.
So I did a little experiment and I'm going to keep experimenting with it, but I was having mild respiratory. I have had childhood asthma, and so I do use an inhaler. Most of the time, I can just get by with just a rescue inhaler, so just as needed, but sometimes to take an allergy pill. Sometimes I have to go on my steroid inhaler for a couple weeks at a time if I'm really. Anyway, I was having some with this air quality thing that we've been dealing with here. So this was like many weeks ago now. But anyway, I had already used my inhaler the day before. Like, I think I took it like, I don't know, 10 times, which is a lot for one day. So the next day I was feeling like there's like something with the albuterol that like if I take too much of it, it does dilate the lungs and I can breathe, but it's like it affects my nervous system in a really like it throws my whole nervous system off. So the next day I drank a lot of water and cleared that feeling and did some energy work. And then I was still having some respiratory flares throughout the day. So I found on YouTube there's a guy who uses electromagnetic to connect to different plants, and then he records the vibrational sound that they make. And so mullein is really good for the respiratory system and the lungs. So I just for one day as an experiment, every time I sort of felt a little like wheezy, I would put this mullein and put my headphones on and just lay there for like sometimes even just 5 minutes, um, and just go into my breath and just go into my body and just listen to the vibration and it worked.
That's so cool. Oh my
My utero. So I was like, gosh, this is pretty cool. So anyway, I want to further experiment with it because that I happen to have the time to some of the natural things they just take longer and there's more of a setup and a procedure. So sometimes it's like the timing of my life. But I want to experiment with that. Yeah. And see how some of those plant vibrational sounds can work with my actual system, what's shifting and moving in my system. Yeah. So I'm super excited about it.
Penny, my coffee machine was giving me a hard time, but did I hear well that you said that you didn't take any mullein, you didn't ingest
Right.
any, you
I,
just
I just
listened to
listened
the
to vibration. Yeah. That this guy does records with this. I guess I don't know what the machine's called, but
like the mullein song.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He has a whole bunch of them with a whole bunch of different herbs and
Oh wow, that's so cool.
yeah, yeah. I can drop it somewhere if
Wow,
you can kind of check out what he does. Yeah,
I've got
that's
to.
convenient.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I thought because especially we get dark, cold, dead winters here,
Yeah.
so we don't have the access to the fresh herbs all year round.
No, we don't. We can try it, but
Yeah,
even if we don't, we cannot, we cannot cultivate every plant neither.
right. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. So funny. It's like there are so many things that we could use that we just have to learn about, but
Yeah.
we don't know yet.
And I love that you're bringing in this piece because the herbal frequencies are like multi-layered. I have learned about like using frequencies for healing as like rife machines and stuff like that, but with the plant frequencies, like that's like you're getting the it in a way that your body understands versus, like targeting like one specific. That's so cool.
I experimented this year too, so I'll see how it goes over the winter. But processing herbs is an interesting art as well. So this year I decided to take like my Korean mint. I've been harvesting the flowers and then just putting them in Ziploc bags, which I know isn't like totally ideal. If I had glass, that'd probably be better just for the frequency and preservation. But I'm using Ziploc bags for now. But putting them so they're just like a single layer and drying it flat. That way, then when I take it out to use it over the winter in tea, it's still, at least this is what I'm hoping, it's still carrying that vibrational resonance as opposed to processing it into something, which is then heating it a lot of times. Yeah, I mean, the dehydration process is like heating for a long period at low temperature. So, but I think it still changes the frequency. I, how can it not? So, anyway, I'm experimenting. I have echinacea and the mint, Korean mint, and borage in the freezer, just fresh, like unprocessed, just cleaned, just to see how that resonates over the winter. When I'm used to doing more dried, everything's dried in the winter. I feel like it's so hard to get fresh things around here. And even if we do get fresh things, they're imported from really far away. So how fresh really are they? Anyway, yeah.
And it's all about also and what layer is the more important of all, I don't know, but I mean what I believe, and I've read it, I think someday that if I grow something in my backyard, and this is a place that I visit like barefoot, and it's like my microbiome. I we share the same microbiome in a way. So I feel like what has been cultivated or what has been like living freely at home, it speaks to me directly. So
Mm-hmm.
is it the freshness or this that impacts us the most? I don't know, but it's another thing that we use what's around us.
What word came for me is compatibility, but
Yeah.
somehow, yeah, more connected.
What I what I work with intuitively is year after year, what I let grow freely in my backyard, it's not the same thing that comes up. So 1 year, like I had echinacea grow up like from nowhere, and the year after it was holy basil. I don't know if you know about that. It's Tulsi.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I seeded a few, and the year after it was everywhere. It happens to be plants that I need. Like it's like it's like magically synchronized. So if I just pay attention for this year, I have, I don't know in English. We called it valériane in French.
Valerian. Yeah.
Valerian, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hilarious. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it's like I have seeded it, but this year it's like it invaded all the patch that it was in.
Oh my
I really dislike this plant, but this year it's so obvious. It's like I tried to connect with the plant because I just when it was in flowers, I went there and I picked some just to even the flowers I don't like the smell. It's like I it's it do you know the smell of this plant?
yes, yeah.
It's like wet socks. Like it's bad. But you
Yeah, I thought it was just me. I was like,
no,
what is
but
this?
for medicinal use,
Yeah.
you use the root. So
Mm-hmm.
the roots smells very bad, but the flowers they have some like chemical, the same chemical that they're in the roots. So I can smell it in on a windy day. Sometimes when it's on flowers, it's like it smells so bad. But if you take your time and you smell it gently, you can smell like the fruitiness and the you can smell that it smells good. But I from that experience, I can observe that I might need or valerian might be some a good plant for me like this year. So it's I don't know what other plant, but it's like it's just an intuitive thing, I believe. But when it's like all over, it's like a sign.
Yeah.
That's
Have
what I
you
told my girlfriend, the same thing, but she lives out in the country. I live in the city. So we don't get as much of that natural
Mm,
um, experience in that way. Although, I mean, I do notice it. Even like this year, my mint is probably double what it was last year. And Lila's been drinking the mint water this year, which she's never drank it before. So, I mean, just keying in like that, maybe that's something that in the mint that she actually needs. And then my echinacea, the same. Last year, I think I had one plant come up, and this year I've got like 4 or 5, and they're huge, like 3, 4 feet wide with blooms everywhere. So yeah, I definitely see that as well. And like last year, I didn't have any sorrel, ground sorrel, which looks like clover. But instead of the round teardrop leaf, it's got like a little heart. And it actually is very citrusy, very lemony. So I've been putting it in salads and in just like steeping it in water and making it into tea.
What's
Yeah,
the plant you said?
like
Sorrel?
sorrel, ground sorrel. Yep. A lot of people think
S-O-R-O?
it's a weed. A lot of people deal with it like a weed and get rid of it, but I like it. It has a lot of medicinal properties and it tastes good.
Thank you. I
It's
don't know about that.
like,
Talking about plants and my back garden needs doing, but I've just left it and different plants come up. And in my I kind of have these visualizations of what I'd like, and like a bush here that was just nice, which is in front of my studio in the garden. And I really love a tree, but the thing is, it's too near because of the regulations. It's too near my studio in the garden, and it's kind of like, oh, I'd love it. A tree has seeded itself not in my garden but in the alleyway, but it's an ash and it'll grow too big, so actually, it will in 30 years, restrict the alleyway and the fences that run between this alleyway, which is the for our bins to go out, which are trash to go out. And so I'm going to have to get rid of it. And it's like, oh, what a tree. And then I had in this um, raised bed this butterfly bush. But I thought, oh, beautiful, more butterflies will be able to come into the garden. But then I researched that's far too big as well. So I'm going to have to get rid of that as well. We're talking about abundant things, and these two things that I would love, but they're just too big.
Oh.
hopefully you can rehome them.
Unfortunately, I don't. I have such a small, bit of ground, so
Yeah.
no, I won't be able to, unfortunately.
Maybe
But
you can make bonsai.
okay, but bonsai, I'm not quite sure. You'd have to do that with the roots. I'm not quite sure. I think, yeah. So I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to. I've started on the butterfly bush. Unfortunately, killing it, but with vinegar
Yeah.
and washing up liquid and something else. I can't remember. Yeah, and it is working. I did it same to ivy. Got too much, two two clumps of ivy, but the ash I'm going to have to reluctantly.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Things grow and die. That's kind of what has been like one of the unexpected uh things that I've been discovering through this exploration with like fractals, and it's just like there are things, it's like the creativity never dies. It's just it gets reabsorbed and then distributed
Exactly.
differently. So
Yeah, energy's not destroyed.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
felt so profound that you said things grow and die. It
I
like it hit me. And you're right.
yeah, I've been contemplating that over the last 3 months. Oh my God. Um, my sage lines in the gene keys have been prescience, which is being able to tell the future for certain people. And I foresight of a baby's death. And then the next one, which was my traction, was annihilation. And then my IQ, which we're on now, is apocalypse. And they're all going back to the void. And I've been navigating that before I, did this. And I've been navigating going back to the, no thing is everything. And going back to, yeah, that feminine, beautiful void and about the spark and all of that rest of it. And when I was doing Akashic Reiki, initially my soul was this bright light. And then this time it was like dark, complete darkness at first. I went, oh, but actually, it's gone beyond the light and actually into the spark, and then eventually little sparks. And I'm, oh, yes, this is different. So God knows where that's going.
That's so cool.
I had taken in the teachings of I don't know if you know about her. She calls herself Yeshwani. I know Kiki, you know about her.
Ooh,
I
she,
Yeah, and I bought kind of pieces of the systems that she sells. And what did I want to say? Oh, it's not even about that, what I wanted to say. So because I'm in her work. It's like I'm in
Yes, yeah.
Jinkies
I
and Yeshwani. Like this year is they're pretty much what I navigate through. But she said, because she like Mac, do you know about her?
No, I
Yeshwani?
don't think so.
Okay.
How'd you spell?
Yesh
YESHUANI
and Yeshwani, and she adds an X at the end. I don't know if she does on Instagram, but on TikTok she has an X at the end. And basically she talks about like structure behind the reality that we're seeing, and she is translating like how we can see patterns uh and loops and navigate freely kind of in this realm. It's just like she does a lot. But what she said one time, because she also uh has psychic abilities, and she said that in all the species that she encountered, with whether they take the form of like angels or aliens or uh insectoids or like just light. And she says, whether I speak or exchange with an energy on a low level, she says low, but a dense level, or a high and less dense, or like evolved, or and how did she say that? She said, on every layer that she communicates, like the top layers, they still don't know what's happening in this universe. They still seek to understand what is source and what how does it work. And I'm like, oh no. I thought I was gonna have my answers after this life.
Oh man.
And she's like, and they also see patterns and fractals, and they navigate through it. They see more maybe that we can see here in this dense plane. But at the end of the day, it's like they still navigate blindly with this God thing. So she said, I never spoke to God. I never saw God. I just see like God's work everywhere, but what is God? Who is God? So I thought it was very funny, like to know. It was like comforting and frustrating at the same
Yeah.
time. that even if you take like a million step back to see the whole, you still don't see the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of thrilling too, because one of the things that immediately came to my mind is that like I gave up what's it called? Not astral traveling. When you create your own dreams, basically. What's that called?
Um,
Lucid
um,
dreaming.
um,
Lucid
I
dreaming.
gave up on
yeah.
that because I was like, this is boring. Like my brain can't come up with like the cool shit that happens in dreams. Like this is and
Yeah.
so like uh I well I mean, I lost the ability to do it after a while anyway, but like when I was younger, I would do like a half lucid type dream where it would be like, okay, brain come up with the storyline or whatever, and then I would just like, you know, in like influence some of the events that would happen later on. It would be less of like I'm gonna create like all of the things that happen in my dream now. It's like that's actually boring.
I know what you mean.
So
Mhm.
like even in the sense of like to be able to know all of the things about the structure of reality like that, it would, oh man, it reminds me of even the way that um they talk about free will being the imperative when it comes to like seeding new earth and stuff, because it's like we can't like, you know, get involved with your free will. Like we have to let you guys grow up the way that, because otherwise, you know, the outsized influence would be like something that um almost like detracts from our own consciousness.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool.
If only I will speak for myself. If only this kind of feeling that when we talk about that, it's like I feel so empowered and joyful and playful, like to play in this realm. But like you turn around and you have your mundane things and it brings you back like in this dense world. I don't know. I don't know if I will be able to navigate like with this intensity and this whimsical energy. I don't know. You tell me if you can do it.
I
But
only tap into it occasionally, but I think that Penny's the master. Actually, Mac also does like a really good.
I feel like they're more advanced.
Yeah. Well, what do you think helps, Penny? Because I know that's something that I see you even identifying like as something that's like very dear to you.
Mm. Yeah. I think honestly, some of it came on board organically as like a younger person compensating for what I didn't know was different. So I took on this identity of a pixie because they're playful and they're present in this and they have like special interests, but they're kind of like mischievous and they're kind of like they mess stuff up sometimes. And so it's like I just crafted this identity. So then when like things were, because it was very interesting. So like this is just a teeny weeny little example. So when I was growing up, I did have like kind of blondish hair with little bit of like maybe strawberry blonde, but more on the blonde side. But anyway, so I was referenced a lot to being a spacey blonde, a dumb blonde. Like there was a lot of blonde references in a very derogatory way. And then it was spacey, flaky. And then when there was the time things like timing or being on time, which also showed up very early, in the game. I was always the last one to get ready, the last one to be out the door. Um, like my kids also will, like, I mean, just as like, they'll be like, Mom, and I'm like, what? I got plenty of time. It's like 5 minutes and I still have like 5 tasks to do. And I'm like, I got plenty of time. And they're like, Mom, literally tasks longer than 5 minutes. Anyway, it's gotten better because I've implemented little techniques, but I guess like I've just learned to make it playful and funny rather than taking it personally, even though I did take a lot of it personally at different times in life. So this weekend, on Friday, it was really hot. We got like this rain for like an hour and lightning and everything, and the humidity just was like super stacked. And there was just a lot of moving parts when we initially set up. So I was kind of feeling that, like the heat, the just the initial everything, and that we had like 5 fans on. And then when the outside music was playing, and then there's another restaurant that cooks in the back end of where we are. So there's there's a lot of different sounds, is what I'm trying to say, like tons of sounds. And I was feeling super like I wasn't acclimating very well to all the different sounds and stimulus at first. And so like I noticed some of the dyslexia symptoms were coming on board, where I was having verbal dyslexia, where I was misplacing words in when I was communicating. And then I was also the audio processing. So like I was hearing things, and like I lip read a lot. That's why I really have a lot of eye contact with people. Because sometimes I'll hear something and I know it's not the right context to the rest of the story. So if I lip read, then I can kind of like tell what word it is. But anyway, so there all these things were happening, and there was just a few of us there, like 3 of us. And so I kept asking, can you come closer? Or what did you say? Or can you say that again? And it was like, it was, it was on. It was on. Like, and I was starting to feel like a little bit self-conscious. So I was kind of trying to be like playful about it. And then I just was like, okay, I'm just going to say it. And so I told a couple of people, this is what I'm experiencing. This is what's happening. I don't need accommodations. But if I do ask several times, it's just because the processing is off right now. And it will probably be cleared up by tomorrow as I acclimate to this environment. But anyway, a new person came in, and she was totally joking, not personal at all. But she's like, she made a blonde joke
Oh my God.
directed to me. And this other woman got really offended, and she was like, oh my God, how, like, that's brave, and was like really defensive. She has blonde hair, which is the irony. So she took it personally because she has blonde hair. I'm like, and mostly this is all dyed. So I just was like, I was like, oh, are you talking to me? Because I'm a redhead. Fired right back off at her, and just walked away. And we were busting out laughing. So nobody was taking it personally except for the person who really did have blonde hair. So funny. Anyway, my point being is that like I try to just be playful and jokey about it, because like the understanding is that most other people, they just don't know. So when they're saying something, they have no idea that they're making fun of something that you fucking can't help. You know what I mean? And if I get offended every time, then I'm giving my piece to them when they don't even know and they don't even want it. So I think that was like something that, I don't know, throughout time just has shifted. I don't know if there was any one pivotal moment that shifted everything.
What I see in that is your capacity of being able to put words on what you're experiencing,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know if I'm able to do that. And I will take your example as a learning step, because when I feel kind of like you were feeling disoriented or not quite like settled in the space. I feel I never put words on it before. So I think it's kind of an important step
Yeah.
for accepting it is like knowing that it's happening.
Yeah.
And I will, yeah, that story that's what I saw first, and that you were able to communicate it also.
Yeah. It really helps. And I think that I wasn't good at communicating because I didn't know what was happening for me. Like, I didn't get a diagnosis until I was 49 and I'm 57. So I'm still learning about that and like not wanting to super attach to the label. But when you're explaining it to people,
Hmm.
the label helps because
And is the label is your label ADHD or is it something else with
yeah,
the
diagnosed.
dyslexia that you mentioned about
Yeah.
hearing?
Yeah.
Is it all part of
Me and my youngest have been diagnosed with, they diagnosed her with ADD and not the hyper part, but I actually think she does have pieces of it. I think that it's again, like it's a diagnostic uh,
Mhm.
thing that is shifting because a lot of the old studies are based on boys, and
Yes.
boys present different and they have a whole different hormone profile, which actually is huge. Because, like, I notice it with Lila because she's still, obviously, she's menstruating. So I notice with her phase, like, when certain components are thrown off because she's at a certain place in her cycle. And then, like, the post thing, like we were talking about food and cravings, and like, I see her, she goes through a big, it's like, she gets really emotional, then she gets her period, and then she craves sugar. Like clockwork. It's like a whole three little wheel that moves. Yeah. So anyway, my point is, like, me understanding what's happening for me helps me like, I can articulate that to Lila, and then it helps her be able to articulate what's happening for her. Because I think another thing that I've noticed in talking with people with executive function is that we all have a certain degree of thinking that other people are mind readers, and it's not like a conscious thought, but it's like a disconnect of, like, we're experiencing this thing that's super intense, and it's all, a lot of times it's on the inside. And so there's this kind of gap, and like there's a lot of things in the gap of being able to let someone else know that you're experiencing something that they can't see. I know you probably experienced that too with your illness, Mac, with the autoimmune stuff, because I do too. Like, it's not that I always want accommodations per se. Sometimes I might, but if people don't know,
Excuse me.
you know, yeah.
Sure.
Oh, I guess my point is, like, if people don't know, then they're going to treat you a certain way, and they may still treat you that way even when they do know. But to be able to articulate it, at least for me, it gives me a sense of, okay, I've expressed it now, and now I can kind of relax, even if other people don't understand. Like, I feel like that's like maturity is telling me that, like, that's kind of like for them to figure out, not for me to figure out. Um, but it also helps me with Lila, I guess, is where I was also going with that as a parent, because I can telling people what I'm experiencing, then it shows her that she can also model what she's experiencing, rather than kind of like just going silent, or, and then, yeah. And it's not a perfect science for me either, because sometimes, like, on group Zoom calls, I feel some kind of way, or I'm picking up on some kind of thing, and I will just go silent. So it kind of ebbs and flows with what's showing up, I guess. But I do try to make it funny and playful, and that's just my way, because I like to be lighthearted at the end of the day. It's like I could die tomorrow and like I don't want to be brooding the day before over all this crap that, I mean, when you were speaking about Yeshwani talking about all the beings that she interacts with and they're all still trying to figure it out, I just like it was a relief for me. I was like, oh, cool. Maybe that's the acceptance. It's just like, yep, we don't know and we're not gonna know and it's okay.
It it's what image kind of came to me was kind of like the totality, and each aspect of the totality is experienced in what they know and they experience, but they do not know where the rest of it all goes and fits.
Mhm.
Whether that will happen eventually, we do not know, but that kind of came to mind. When you were talking about, sorry, I had to go. Someone from my stair lift. I didn't know they were coming. So, and that's something I need. So I let them in. When you were talking about noise, I have become more sensitive to noise again more recently, but I have always noticed that if there's a lot of noise, I find it really difficult to concentrate. And I find it, when I'm speaking to someone, I find it very difficult to hear what they're saying. And it's like, ow, yeah, yeah, oh, ah. That's what I hear. And I'm going, sorry? And it's like I'm having to take the body language and all that to get something and try to say something. So quite often when it's a noisy environment, I just kind of sit there silent and maybe just do a little bit of comment. And yeah, because that's just, I think, ah.
Uh, You know what? I feel the same thing as you said. I thought it was a hearing problem, but I feel like I hear fine.
Yeah.
But when there are too many things happening, I feel like exactly like you explained. It's like I don't hear the words because I lose the context, I lose the lip reading. It's like the sound that I hear, they don't make sense because it's lost in all this distraction. But I really thought it was a getting older thing. But
No,
No.
I don't
I've
feel
had
that
it.
it is. And what you shared, Penny and Mac, it really feels the same.
Yeah.
You too, Kiki?
I've had that
Oh
my
yeah.
whole life. And my mom took me to get hearing tests like every year because she thought I had a hearing issue, but I never have. I still don't at my age. I just had a hearing test and it's the processing. So the hearing is totally fine. It's the way that it processes once it goes into the brain. And it kind of makes sense if there's so much stimulus, it's like a lot of interference is just coming in and dissonance and
And it's like it's in these situations that this neurodivergence or spiciness feels like a lack of capacity.
yeah.
It feels like a limitation. But
Mm-hmm.
hearing you speak of it, it kind of allows me to like rest in some way. It's like my nervous system is kind of
Yeah.
relaxed now because it 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 made me identify something like as it could be normal, even if it's not, but
Well,
Yeah.
this is one of the reasons why I think that so many more people are like neurospicy or like they're neurodivergent than people who might be considered neurotypical, because even in the sense of like being able to identify these pieces, it's like sometimes people just they don't recognize what is actually happening for them. Like they don't notice that like, oh, it's not a hearing difficulty, it's a data processing issue. And like even when it comes to like the first thing that came to my mind thinking about that is how the visual system takes up like a huge amount of brain power. It's like 70% or something like that. And like even when it comes to schizophrenics, like part of like what they've noticed is that people who are blind never develop schizophrenia. I was like, what the fuck?
Wow. So you mean there's no documented case of anyone being blind with schizophrenia?
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's like very much a visual thing. So it's like the even when you want to break it down into like the biophotons and like the mitochondrial dysfunction and stuff like that, it's like honestly, there is so much more out there that has to do with mitochondrial dysfunction than it has to do with like, you know, disease A, B, C, D, whatever. It's like the literal energy production and processing of our bodies. When that's messed
Yeah.
up, like the downstream effects are like brutal.
Yeah, and mine, Emmy, is
Yeah.
partly the mitochondrial. They're just kind of the
Yep.
battery kind of needs, oh please, like charge me in. Yeah. I mean, I've not been apart from dyslexia, I've not been diagnosed with anything else, but I'm sure I have lots of things. And talking to you, oh, I'm kind of like, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I didn't know
I
think such a thing as an audio processing. I only discovered it because when Lila was pre like reading, so like pointing out the words on like just one sentence books. There was like three books that she always wanted to read, and I read them to her literally hundreds of times, like sometimes back to back, like 5 times. Just,
Oh wow.
can we read that again? Can we
Mhm.
read that again? Can we read that again? And so when it was time for her to practice read, she actually just memorized
Yeah.
the entire
Yeah.
book.
Of course you did.
And so we were on the page, and like she also had some visual, her eyes were not, they were not focusing properly. So we had to do some glasses work and some vision things, and block off words on the page of a book to train her eyes to focus together. So during that, I noticed a huge improvement. But after that part of it was done, so we go page by page, but all of a sudden I would hear her add in a word. And I was like, oh, where's that word? And she's like, it's right there. And she would not point to she would point to the page, but not touch the word. And I said, oh, can you actually touch the word and show me the word? And she would just point to any word, and it wasn't the word because the word wasn't there. Right.
I love it.
And so then that's how I discovered she just memorized the book.
Mhm.
And so she's just going off her memory rather than actually reading the book word for word. That's how I discovered. Yeah. So anyway, that
That's
was
really
discovered.
incredible.
Audio processing it was like, oh, she's actually not processing when I'm reading her the words. So anyway, we had to do some backtracking with, like, I would record the book and then she could take her little thing and follow along. Um, but she also, and I didn't know I had dyslexia either because I thought it was something different. I mean, I knew what it was, but I just didn't know anybody. So I didn't know that it had like this broader complexity. In my mind, I was like, oh, I don't flip letters. But when I talked to my mom, I flipped letters when I was a kid all the time. I still forget my left and right. Like
Yes.
I just have I blank completely out. Like, and I only know because I have a little writer's bump on this hand. So like like if I forget, I'll just go, oh yeah, right, right. Or like other right. Like, or just that verbal thing of like, I'll say the sentence, but some of the words will be mixed up in the way that it comes out, which is what I hear Lila do sometimes too. Anyway, so that was really interesting. So I think for hopefully as each generation we get more education, we'll understand these things a little earlier in the game and have a language for it, and be able to like go off the pendulum of creating identity around it and being like, okay, this is just like kind of how my makeup is.
And being able to tap into what the gifts are. So I just want to wrap
Right.
up some of the endpoints here, and then I would love to get a sense of we like practicing a little bit of
Yeah.
what we were talking about, sharing in the moment. Because okay, so one of the things that was coming up for me is like dyslexia is a three-dimensional thing. So like sometimes what happens is that because you guys are able to see the dimensionality of the 2D text, like the things get flipped and sorted differently in your brain. And spatially, like that is such an advantage. Like you guys probably have like a holographic interaction with letters, language, just in general. And that is like for me, what could be the impetus for like a new way of interacting with language. And then like that just brings up for me as well. The Lightning Thief is this like the Percy Jackson series is this way that an author is like experimenting with like the different ways that things that are colloquially seen as deficiencies, like things that like people struggle with, like can be used to benefit not only themselves but society. Like they're seen as demigods with dyslexia, and it allows them to read Greek. It's like that's amazing.
Yeah.
um, and then uh, I guess the final piece that I'd love to just explore is like how you guys have been experiencing this particular call in like the quality of your attention and like your physical body and stuff, because and this is kind of something that's been explored in different ways like as we've been sharing space together like in the virtual space, but like I don't know, I'm immediately thinking of I don't know. I would love to hear like your own experiences.
What's interesting when you talked about, about the spatial aspect of it. When I trained as a sculptor, I mean, I can make objects and I can visualize and see and just know how to make it. Um, and sometimes I can see a whole image and can create it. But actually, I maybe do that from time to time, but it's really boring because I know what it's going to be and there's no motivation to explore, so I'm like, nah, I don't
That's like me with
particularly like that. Thank you very much. But at the same time, my forte was space. And I played around with perception and how we viewed things and playing around with the difference. And yeah, and being site specific and all of that business. Oh, I loved it. I completely loved it. But yeah,
that's
yeah,
so
so
cool.
that's one aspect. Yeah.
So I'm curious about what you've been experiencing on this call. Has it been at all something spatial? Maybe not, but
I haven't a clue. Well, it kind of like we're talking about things and it's kind of like it broadens my mind, you know what I mean? And I go, God, there's even more possibilities. What ones am I particularly interested in? What ones do I not? There's so many things that I'd love to explore further. When I'm interested in so like I've said before, sometimes I do things and I explore and I go deep to a certain level, and then I go, no, I'm bored. Now I need to do something else. So, and I just do all these things. But what I have said before, and I believe I said it to you, Kiki, is all these things all kind of merge, and they're there. It's like this pot of all this experience and knowledge, And I don't remember a lot of facts. Well, I can do, but I find it boring. That's me. But what happens is they arise, and things seem to arise and pop up when there is need of them.
Mhm. That's
That's my
amazing.
experience.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah.
How about everybody else?
I just wanted to mention that that reminds me of one of my friends. It's like they would question why I would have like 30 tabs open on my computer, and I'd be like, is there another way to do this? Like, I don't think I don't think like you lose them forever when they're closed. And they kind of just mentioned like this idea that you were bringing up. It like it emerges when it's time, when it's ready, when it's right. It's like, wow, that's a lot of trust, faith in yourself. It's like maybe I'll try that. I did for a
Yeah.
while. I'm back on my 30 tab bullshit, so
Yeah.
Isn't it the reason for it to be for a computer to be able to have a million tabs? I discovered on my phone the max is 500, but
Is that all?
I sometimes I just wipe them all,
yeah.
like wipe them all clean. But it's
Yeah.
like, but you can open like parallel universes in the tabs. Do you know about it? Yeah. So I have one specific for the Gene Keys, and I have one specific for just my day-to-day use. And I tried to keep it focused in these two universes, but the day-to-day one is like 499.
Well, the thing about me is trying to be organized. I'm much better with physical things. When it comes to the internet or the computer, it's like, what did I call that?
Mhm.
And I have so many different names actually about similar things, and I'm just going,
Yeah, it's because of this 3D component, which makes me wonder if man, if like the mental space, if you were able to map that out a little bit like with a little more intention, because oh my God, have you heard of like threshold syndrome? Where like people will forget what they're doing in the middle of like as they're walking somewhere because as soon as they cross the threshold, like their mind differently compartmentalizes information. So it's like it kind of like goes out into they delete the tab. It's like what was
I
I in here
don't.
for again? Uh but like
So you mean just in the middle of the day? You're not talking about like walking to another room to
no,
get
that's
something
exactly
and
what I'm
you're
talking
in
about.
the room and you're like can't remember what you walked
Yep,
in at. Okay, because I do that
exactly.
all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, me
Yes,
too.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Or
I'm
I
always
was going to do something and
uh,
then I forget what am I doing?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's again, it's like the mapping, it's the architecture of your brain, like not compartmentalizing as soon as you enter that new space. But like when the space is exactly the same, when it looks has the same features when you're on your phone, like you have to do the implementation of that architecture yourself in order to create those spaces that make it easier to navigate in some type of way.
Yeah, attempting.
At least, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think there's different processes that work too with digital than like I'm a very tactile first and then all the senses sort of like I don't know, wrap up into the tactile. It's like the tactile's the receiver. So I remember back in the day, I worked at the public library here when they still had card catalogs. And I fucking love that. I loved shelving the books, finding the number, touching the books, touching the card catalog. Like it was all just like a grand adventure, you know, a grand like treasure hunt of going to the library. And like I am still challenged by transitioning to a digital format where I know all the stuff's there, but but it's like I can't touch it. It's like you said, I have to rely on my memory to remember what I labeled it. Where even in my own home, sometimes I will put something somewhere, but at the time I put it there, it's relative to what I'm experiencing at the time. So I put it there because it makes sense at the time.
Yeah.
But later in the week, you know, air bubble. It's like it doesn't make sense that it's there because I'm not in that particular experience with that particular object. So then it's like, where would I have put it? And I have to go through like the different things in my brain of like what I would have associated it with. Anyway, sometimes that whole bit can be like a little crazy, but I have created systems where there are certain things like I was chronically always losing my keys, my sunglasses. I still misplace my phone and my coffee cups around the house. That's probably just going to be that way. Um, there's other things too, like certain kitchen things, but now I've established, oh, and like scissors and like tools, art supplies. Oh my God. Like at one point, I think I had like 12 scissors. I had like 3 sets of acrylic paints. Couldn't find it. And then I would go and buy a new one. And then later in the month or year, then I find the thing. Anyway, all of that has like I've just done little things. So like I have a hook right when I walk in the door. That's where I always put my keys. Clockwork. I never put them in my purse anymore. I shouldn't say never. That's not true. Not a never. There's no definitives. Sometimes I put it in my purse, but mostly it's just like it's a habit now. It goes at the door, and then I always know they're there. Like Lila knows they're there. Sunglasses. I have a sunglasses spot where there's like these little slots where I put my sunglasses now, and then I keep one pair of sunglasses in each, like my car, a separate pair, so that way if I forget, I have a pair there. The scissors ordeal. I have a scissors in my car. I have a scissors in the kitchen. I have a fabric scissors. I have a scissors in my room for beading. And Lila has a scissors in her room. And they're all different colors. So we know which ones stay in which room.
That's amazing.
Little things like that. I mean, that I've just learned over the years, not even from anything. It's more just strategizing like, I'm a single mom here and I'm going crazy. Like I'm dysregulated all the time, especially talking back when I had my 3 kids. They were going to 3 different schools. They had 3 different sets of interests and activities and needs and ages. And it was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm crazy every day because I'm losing shit all the time. Yeah, it was a wild time back then. And especially not knowing, like I feel like, boy, it really makes a difference when you know what's going on. At least you can give yourself that self-compassion and self-love. That was a big, big game changer for me. Yeah. Not so much the label of like, I have this, but it's like, oh, okay. There's a legit thing happening to me. Or that not happening to me, but I'm experiencing it. Um, yeah. Anyway, not just like leaning into all the other messaging that sort of comes when you have difficulty functioning in a whatever.
Society.
Oh, I don't even want to say normal anymore. It's like
Yeah.
that's such bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that too. I have tons of scissors for different functions. But I also have scissors. I have scissors in my. I have scissors or scissor-like things in for the garden. I
Yeah.
have scissors in my indoor studio. I have scissors in the kitchen, or some for, wrap or paper cutting. I have scissors in my sewing box for cutting in thread. I have scissors that for thick things. I have scissors for just food, and things like that.
Hi, Laurie.
And yeah, I have scissors every, but also I have scissors just in places that if I'm in a room, I don't have to literally walk to another room because I have to consider
Yep.
how much energy I have. So I have lots of different things and repeated things. But my house at the moment is totally disorganized. However, when I'm organized and I have a place for stuff, I just know where things are.
Hmm. Yeah.
I just know where things are. Unfortunately, it's not so much the case because my place still got boxes with things in that have been moved to move furniture that haven't been placed back, and it's chaos. But I manage.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I remember I was working for an artist, Barry Flanagan, an international artist, and he asked me to sort out his prints. And because I had literally placed them in these drawers, artist drawers, and I remember someone came in, and in fact, it was a jazz player, a famous jazz player came in. He was friendly with Barry Flanagan, and he said, "I'd love to," which Barry had did a portrait of and did some prints. He said, "I wonder if you could show someone," and I just went into the drawer and went, "Here."
Oh my God.
So when I can physically do something and people say, "Well, come and help," well, no, because I really need to see where it is for me to register where it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if the tactile thing is part of that, but I know that yeah, then I can visualize. And I can say to someone, if you go into this cupboard and at eye level, yeah, your eye level, if you just open this right door and you look straight ahead, you will find X.
Yeah.
And that's great for my carers, you see.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. I have that too. Yeah. But then it can be weird because, like, I can visually see that and tell someone, it's like second shelf from the top behind this thing, and they're like, oh my God, how did you? Because I'll see it in my mind's eye too.
Yeah.
But then later in the day, maybe I'll like misplace something like my coffee cup, literally going room to room to room to room. Now, where did I set that down?
Yeah.
So
Phone.
it's inconsistent sometimes,
Yeah.
with, yeah.
The
Yep.
spectrum.
Yeah. Spectrum. Yes.
I guess those things are
Within a
emotion
spectrum.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You keep what did you say?
I guess those things are emotion too. So sometimes it's difficult because the impression that they're leaving on the space is like a little bit more uh veritable.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this was here, but not currently.
Yeah. It's not a permanent spot like when you see something in a cupboard, it's like it's a permanent spot. Yeah. Is that what you're saying? There's
Well,
the
it can be permanent, but like it leaves a residue, like
yeah
the energetics. Because
imprint.
yeah, it's
I think you're right because I remember when I'm trying to find my phone, and like when I finally find it, then I remember the motion
yeah,
walking
exactly.
into that room and putting that down. So I think what you're saying is,
Yeah.
no, that's another way to track and I do, what was I doing before? What was I thinking about before?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of where even Penny, what you were saying about like the energetics that you were in as you were setting it down. It's like that's why it feels like uh I don't know. There's like a complicit nature to whatever the item is. It's like he you're not gonna find me. Like we're going
Yeah.
in a portal right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, and coffee cup too, if I think about that, there's a lot of different levels of multitasking that can be happening while I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even on the Zoom call, like I have my coffee here and I'm drinking it and I'm chatting and I'm, aware of what's happening, outside. But like I have this table, so I'm setting it down in the same spot. But if I was on a phone call, a lot of times if I have energy and I know it's someone that I haven't talked to for a while, so it's going to be like an hour call, um, I will walk around the house or walk around the yard. And so then it's like all
Yeah.
bets are off, like I found my coffee cup out in the yard in the grass on a rock. Like I was like, oh yeah, come out here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes all bets are off. Yeah, with the moving part. That's really good awareness. Yeah.
It's just like it also, man, there's an experience that I had once where, I mean, it was helped by plant medicine, but I was like fishing around in my bag for something, and I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Like this this experience that I have been having the entire time when like shuffling around looking for something has been one where like I am both like seeking out an object and the object is also seeking me out. And it's like this is next level type shit. Like what the hell?
Yes, I believe that. What you're looking for is seeking you.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
also
Have
like
an
this
example?
what?
Do you have an example that you could share, like how that might play out?
Well, when I was looking for it was like my phone or whatever, it kind of almost felt like sonar, where it's like
Ooh.
sending out like a signal and like listening for one back. But one thing that has actually happened to me was oh man, there's actually multiple things, but one time my sister and I were fighting over like a DS game, and she just like took my DS and hit it, and I was like, "What the fuck? Like, are you kidding me? Like, can you please just like let me enjoy the game?" And I was just like walking around the house, like feeling around, just being like, "Okay, I know I can find it. Like, I know that like the place that it is like in this house, and so like it's like automatically something that I'll be able to like locate." And then I just like sent out like it felt like I just sent out a signal, and I was like, all right, the DS, you can find me. And then I beelined for my mom's side of the bed, like under the mattress, and it was there. It's like, oh, okay. You tried to be all sly with it, but like, no, I found it. And then the other time was I lost like my stuffed animal, and I didn't put it anywhere. So I'm not even sure how it ended up here, but I like was looking around the house and kind of just like putting out feelers for it, being like, where are you? Like kind of calling out for it. And then I just remember being like, oh, it's in like this specific place. It was like in the closet in our hallway, like at the entrance. And I went there and that's where it was. And I have no idea, like, still how it got there or like what was happening, but like it wasn't difficult to find. I just, yeah.
I had a friend, he's passed away now. His name was Sandy, and brilliant. He was diagnosed with schizophrenia, affecto schizophrenia. And
Affectal. What's
yeah,
that?
I think that my understanding of it is that it's has components of bipolar. So it has the ups and downs, but it also has the schizoid components of illusions, delusions, hallucinations, possibly in there. Um, but I over the few 3 decades that I knew him, I was curious about neurodivergence. only because it came on the scene later in the conversation, like it wasn't something. So, but what I'm thinking of is he would always misplace his glasses, and he was really, really overweight. So it was really difficult for him to get up and out of his chair. He was a computer programmer. Um, and he would set his glasses down places and just couldn't find his glasses. And his technique was he would sit in his chair, he would close his eyes. And I used to make fun of him because I thought it was hilarious. But now I'm thinking, well, shit, I think he was like using his magic powers. So he would sit in his chair and he would close his eyes and he would go, here, glasses, 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 glasses. Here, glasses, 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 glasses. Here, glasses. And he would turn his head from side to side really slow and he would just repeat that. And I thought it was just hilarious. But he would stand right up and he would go get his glasses.
That's
Wow.
amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I just thought it was the funniest thing. Like, I wasn't even really putting all of that together. This was, I mean, he's been passed away for like 10 years now. So a lot of that stuff was coming, and I was noticing it before I ever had access to all of the things that I have access to now. But anyway, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Because I bet he was visualizing it.
Yeah,
Or
probably.
the
Well,
imprint
and also,
electromagnets calling it in.
yeah,
Yeah.
the frequency, the magnetics, whatever we want to call it,
Yeah. Yeah.
unseen.
Yeah. I haven't thought about that in so long. I'm going to experiment with that next time I misplace something.
Hell yeah.
When I lose something like an earring or something,
What's that?
I go to the angel, particularly to Metatron, because I really relate to Metatron, and go, okay, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Metty. We're pals. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Metty. Thank you for letting me find my X, Y, or Z. And that might not happen straight away, but eventually, most of the time, I find what I lost, apparently lost.
That's so cool. Yeah, my dad has a thing too where he'll also do the thing where he's calling out for it almost like a dog. It's like I can't remember exactly what it is right now, but it it's just making me think about that. But then the other thing that um you thanking your angel or Metatrons like is bringing up for me the mercurial way that sometimes there's like this feeling that there's more to what is being lost. Like at one point I lost my passport and like I remember sitting there being like this is more than just about like me losing something or me losing my passport. And then I was like, I wonder if this is like a way to get me to like actually use my like astrological tools. So I opened it up on a forum and there was like this like the chart itself when you look at it like there are certain elements that you can bring in and work with, and for whatever reason I just like wasn't able to like see clearly that like it was explicit, like it told me directly where the thing was. And because I opened up this forum and like allowed other people to like be with me in on it, it's like I was able to learn not only more about like the astrology, but also like that I oh man, it was just like there was like a whole layer of just like the learning part, the discipline of it, then like beyond just finding my passport. So it was cool. It was like you think it's about finding your passport, it's not.
Yeah. I yeah, it kind of like sometimes when I find stuff, I'm kind of like, and I'm going, why am I? why am I going to get this? And it doesn't really make difference. And I go, ah, thank you. It kind of like clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So God knows what's happening. But anyway, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, truly.
Thank you.
Have you had experiences like that, Penny, where like the detour is part of the, it's like I almost think it's not a bug, it's a feature.
Mhm. Yeah.
Can you give an example?
Hmm. Not sure if I'm honing in on one in specific, but I definitely know my desire to go down rabbit holes, whether it's on the internet or whether it's in my own, like I was thinking about, I've always had like a fairly good size book collection. I've had a desire to have a personal library forever since I can remember. But as I get older, moving and carrying boxes of books and moving them around and finding places to have them all out in my house, um, just as has shifted. So I had like probably 8 totes of books in my garage here that have been in there since I moved in 2018. So I was wanting to just make sure that they weren't getting moldy, that anyway, when I decided that it was time to go through those, I actually found all of these things from when I lived in Madison when I was in college. And that took me to a friend that I hadn't been in contact with for a while. And then I went on the internet and actually found her. So I guess that's probably one. But I feel like that happens a lot where I'll just go down a rabbit hole and something else will show up that I feel like I either need or a connection will be made or a piece of information. And maybe it's how willing or open or maybe grounded I am to receive it, how open to receive whatever is wanting to come through and being willing to follow it and having the
Yeah.
discernment of what is. Because sometimes I've followed rabbit holes where I'm like, oh, for crying out loud, like, Max says, bloody hell. Like, why the hell did I go down this thing for the last hour?
Yeah, it was a dead end
Yeah.
or a
But
detour.
yeah. Yeah.
Talking about,
Even then it's showing me where I don't need to be, So at
yeah,
the end of the day, it's still showing me something.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Talking about detours or intentions and things like that. I remember once, when things happen and you don't realize the implications of it. I remember I I was studying art therapy, and part of that we needed to have art therapy for ourselves. And I used to travel to St Pancras in London, and because the art therapist was very near there, walking distance in there, and it was early evening, and this day I was not able to go, and I was really, really miffed. But it was the day of the St Pancras bombings, and I would have been there at the time.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Wow, holy shit. Was your professor okay?
Yeah, yeah, she was fine. It was just in the yeah, in the transport aspect of it rather than
Mhm.
outside of that. Yeah. But yeah, following, sometimes I go onto Instagram, very much at Instagram. I go in to have fun. And
Yeah.
I love how things kind of just go, okay, so I've got some time before something, and I go, okay, so I'm going to have some fun. And I just go in and explore. And then I just see things and I go, okay, that sounds really, I see tons of things, but I don't feel it's necessary to pass it on. And other things I go, I don't know who needs to see this, but I'm going to give it to, or when I'm someone I'm mentoring, I go, I'll send it to them. And then the amount of time she said, that's just what I needed,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Or what I need if I'm trying to explore something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's lovely when things like that happen. And just trusting. I'm being more and more open to trusting.
Me too.
Add it to the soup.
Mhm.
Add it to my soup. That's right. Keep stirring.
Oh man.
Yeah, there's a word, maybe you guys already know it, but there's a word in the neurodivergent kind of community. It's called pebbling, and
I don't
it's
know.
sporadically sending people that you know and care for, sporadically sending them just like a quote or a podcast or a meme or a piece of art or a music video, as a way to connect and share interests. And it's so interesting because I have noticed before I came across that word, which I actually think is super cute. It's like want to pebble together, like pebble,
Oh,
pebble partners, pebble pals. Anyway, sorry. Um, Having my sensory P things go off.
I love it.
Yeah, anyway, before I was aware of that, I did notice that not everybody relates that way because sometimes I have related, and like Lila and I have talked about this too. Like we both do this. So if someone shares something with me as a way to relate, I will share something that I've experienced that might be similar to show, like to mirror, like, oh, I can relate to that. I can understand some of like what you experienced because I've experienced it too, but not everybody relates that way. So I have actually gotten accused, I don't know, half a dozen times, maybe more, of being selfish and stealing the conversation and making it about me. And I'm like over here going, I was just trying to relate. Like I was just trying to let you know that I know what you're talking about because I was like, yeah. It's just like, well, shit, I shouldn't have said anything. Anyway, I don't really go in those spirals anymore, but I remember when I was younger, it was tough.
Yeah.
It was tough to interact when you're misperceived like that or misunderstood, and then to like go backwards and articulate, and then you try to explain it to somebody, and then they're telling you that your reality is not right. It's not real because their reality trumps your reality. And I think that's a difficult thing to uh, move through, especially when you don't know what's happening. But I know that's a very sensitive thing. It's a very edgy thing. I really, really struggle still to this day with being misunderstood and having other people tell me what my reality is because it's their reality. Like nothing sends me into a rage quicker. Like I like immediately just like deep breaths, deep breaths. you know? Like
yeah.
I can joke about it, but I mean, 10, 15 years ago, I would be pissed off for like days over shit like that. Like really just ruminating and stewing and kicking my little pixie boots and like, what the fuck? Um, yeah.
Yeah. My father used to misunderstand me a lot. And my sister particularly does so. And she has so much influence over my over two brothers that her reality, yeah, mine is how she sees it is what it is actually like.
Yeah.
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 And
I
I
think
just kind of go,
of that energy for
I
people.
just know it. And I just go, hey, it's you.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
it kind of, have you ever heard someone, it's usually like husbands for whatever reason. It's like, it's your world. I'm just living in it.
Oh yeah, I've heard that phrase before.
That throws me off so much. Like um, how much someone's like inner authority is completely uh, like sideswiped by the interpretations of another person.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when my husband and I used to have different opinions, and he took it as it was a criticism of his opinion. I
Oh
said,
my God.
we've got we've just got two different ways. It doesn't mean to say anything is right or wrong. It just means we see this differently. Can we not just agree to disagree? She was kind of like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been met with that too, where I've shared an opinion and someone else is like takes it like as a defense, like a criticism.
Yeah,
Always a little bit perplexed by where that energy is, and I definitely know now, like in my system, this is not about me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But
I know now, but I didn't know then.
yeah,
But
yeah,
well, when I said that to my husband, I eventually did know, and I went, "Oh, we're
yeah,
just different. I
yeah,
see it differently."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess that's kind of one of the benefits of like being able to explore um the way that our neurodivergence, honestly, like it feels like an exploration of our own consciousness. It's like
Yes.
we all have our own ways of perceiving our environment and relating to it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
There's there's names kind of disappear for me. There's lots of different speakers talking about consciousness,
uh-huh.
and is it around about now or later? And I really want to do it. The more and more I do it, is I really, different aspects. And yes, I just want to sit there and go, aha.
The
um,
conference, is that what you're saying you want to do?
is it a conference? It's an
Or
online summit.
for
Oh,
That's where
summit?
they go. Yeah, summit. Yeah, eventually comes through.
Yeah, right.
Come back to me, please.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That sounds really cool. I think I did see that you posted a couple links. So
I
maybe
did. Yeah, I did post. I think at the time I wasn't sure if I had enough money to buy the recording, because I find it one thing after another, particularly when your mind's going, with different concepts, it's hard to kind of follow it. And I can't really, so I kind of like, okay, so, oh, this one looks interesting. I'll do that one now. This one looks more interesting. I'll do that one. Yeah, I prefer it to do it in my own time when my brain's going, not when it's gonna. Hmm.
I thought I was going to be able to find it quickly, but I might need to spend a little bit more time with it. I'll try to um, add it if I can to the link once this is up.
Yes, please, because trying to always find things on, because I can't even remember what it's called, but I think it was consciousness.
Yeah.
Um, um, and that's about this. What to call it? How are you trying to find it if you can't remember the bloody name?
Yeah.
the struggle's real.
I remember doing my driving test, and I managed to get everything right about the symbols and what they meant and all the rest of it. And then we came to this one, and I said, completely went blank. I said, I can't remember what it's called, but I can tell you exactly what it means.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, this has been so much fun. And I on it like every time we get on here. I just like I feel like I learned so much.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
It helps me to understand myself and that I'm not going bloody crazy.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
So
Yeah. In that way, like the mirroring of validation from other is actually really nice in that because it creates connection. And it's
Yeah.
like, I can hear you share something, and I'm like, well, she's not crazy, you know? Like,
yeah.
or the right amount of crazy, so that's okay, you know? And like, then I can get like kind of, oh, okay, yeah, all right, I'm the right amount of crazy too.
Yeah. Mm. I remember sitting with a family with my cousins, and I was kind of saying something, and my cousin was just looking at me, and I said, "Don't worry, I'm weird." And one of them said, "You've always been weird."
Yeah, right?
Serious, serious, you know. Yeah, and I'm yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
noted.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Mm.
Yeah, it definitely takes away any of the energetics of criticism or shame or like showcasing differentiation when I can just take ownership of it and
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Lila do that because like she's had people comment like that she's kind of weird or her interests are weird um and like she's felt kind of defensive, but I've been like, how do you feel about yourself? Do you feel like your interests are different from others? And like when we pull it apart and use different language, she's like in agreement with it. But in the moment when it's coming from like said person who maybe there's not trust or safety or whatever, or it's contextually meant to be teasing or something like that, um, and so that's actually, I got to see that play out in real time finally her senior year. Cause then she was just saying to people, like, yeah, I'm a weirdo, you know, or yeah, I'm a fairy. Fairies are creative, you know, or she would just claim something and like she was feeling a lot better about other people putting the spotlight on her differences, which I think is really, it's like a little nugget in there for parents to help their kids to
Absolutely.
say, yeah, embrace it. Then it
Yeah,
doesn't, it loses anything that anybody else tried to put into it when you just take ownership of it. It's like,
exactly.
yeah, yeah. So weirdos and pixies unite.
Yes.
I love that you said you were a pixie when you were young. Yes.
I
Yeah,
still do. I
exactly.
only literally changed it on my Facebook like a few years ago. Otherwise, I had Pixie on there as part of
Yeah.
Why not?
like just don't go outside of the Pixie expectations and we're gonna get along fine.
Yes, for real.
Mm.
That really gets me into like the mode of really playing with what our expectations are for each other. I met someone named who goes by Wolf the other day,
Ooh,
and he got super defensive when I like uh, like asked him what his name was at first. And I was like, "Oh, well, is it like a reference to one wolf or is it like, more than one wolf?" Like he started like opening up just a little bit because he realized that I wasn't taking it seriously. It's like, yeah, if you want to be called wolf, like, yeah, whatever. Like, that's fine. What do you mean? It's cute.
Mm.
Anyways, it's like, I don't know. It gets me into sometimes this mode of like, one of the reasons why I like being called Kiki is because I think that the projections that come with being called Tiffany are very like defining. Like they're things that are associated with the t part that are Saturnian. Apparently, it's like based on the research that I've gone into the name, and then um, it being associated with like the jewelry brand and stuff like that. And so, like me going out of my way to be like, no, like I don't want to be called Tiffany all the time. Like, call me anything else. I feel like has been helpful in breaking down the boundaries around, you know, being seen one way, even.
That's so interesting. I love that you shared that because although I am aware of Tiffany, the jewelry and the luxury, I've never ever associated that because I grew up in high school with a Tiffany, only one ever. You're only the second one I've ever met in my whole life.
Oh my God.
And we call her Tiffy. And do you remember the old show? I think it was called Ricky Tikki Tavi.
Yes.
Do you remember that? And it was like a cartoon or a movie. And I think it was a weasel. I think he was like a weasel or a ferret or gosh, I'll have to go
A
figure
stoat,
that out.
maybe?
But we used to call her Tiffy Tabby, like play on words, you know. So it was always playful, and she was in on it. She would say it too, and or we would call her Tiffy Taffy, like Laffy Taffy, that's stretchy Taffy. Um, so I always had this like bond when I met you because you were the only second Tiffy that I ever met, and it reminded me of Tiffany. Tiffany
Yeah.
reminded me of Tiffy from childhood, and yeah, and then when you brought the Kiki in, it full circle moment back to watching the Kiki's delivery service with my kids. And that was a show that not everyone, like my kids' friends weren't into it. Like they didn't even know about it. Like our family was the one who turned on Kiki's delivery service to a bunch of kids. Like,
Oh,
I don't know.
we're the
I don't know
Kiki's
why.
delivery service to all
Yeah.
these kids.
Yeah. So then it was like, oh, Tiffy and Kiki. Like I've always had kind of this, yeah, fond, playful association with those two names. Yeah.
So you prefer to be called Penny. So why is that?
My birth name is Penny, and
Ah,
I will go by Penny, but a lot of people call me Octavia because that's what I've been using for as my artist name for a long time. Yep. And I think I'm okay with Penny now. It's just like I went through a long decades phases because I got teased so much, like called quarter, nickel, dime, pennies from heaven. Oh my God. Henny Penny. I think there's like Henny Penny with the chicken who has all the anxiety and it's like running around all crazy. It's an older story, I think. Um, Yeah, and I never met any pennies until I was probably like 40, I think. I met another penny. And so I just kind of had this like association that was not, I think a lot of people call me Penelope too, which is not my birth name, but a lot of pennies come from Penelope. Yeah. Anyway, I feel at peace with it now. Um, I don't know. It's just a name. I feel like honestly, none of those names are my real name anyway. You know, like there's a soul name that's there that isn't, it's a frequency, you know? Yeah.
It was cool that you were describing, I think, last time how that was the same um
The numeral.
numerological. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. I had mentioned that to a human design reader. It was like 7 years ago, I think. And he had brought that to the surface. Well, numerology, they're the same. So there's something that you need to be working through here. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I think. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I'm excited to do this again next week.
Yeah.
Maybe we can explore more of the pixie like engagement with like our unique ways of perceiving like the area around us, and
Mm-hmm.
some of this bringing in the expectations and
Mm-hmm.
kind of.
I think it would be really interesting to talk about the clairs
Oh, true.
in
Yeah.
reference to neurodivergence and how those things came online and what were the circumstances when they first were coming online. Just to kind of weave in some relationships with that. I have some theories that neurodivergence is actually tapping, it's a remembrance of the clairs that's online more. But again, like the paradigm's shifting. I mean, and that's super simple way to put it too. I'm sure that there's a lot more.
Yeah.
But I just sort of have this feeling that I don't know. Well, I believe that we're remembering things like we came here, we forgot, and now we're remembering different pieces from our overall soul experience. But it seems like diagnostically, those numbers are rising. And I feel like maybe there's a piece of the picture of time shifting in a way that is allowing the clairs to be remembered earlier or through different circumstances that maybe they weren't tapped into. Anyway,
I mean, it's reminding
it'll
me of
be fun to have that, to open it up and just to hear what everyone else has to say, or
Mm-hmm.
they've done research or just theorizing.
Or experiencing.
Yeah, or experiencing. Yep.
I mean, it's reminding me of the shadow gift in city, because the cities are meant to be not necessarily clairs, but they're different experiences of the divine
Mm-hmm.
with the.
And I'm going to say that, as you brought that up, that your purpose is city is majesty, and it goes perfectly with your name, Tiffany.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess so.
Yeah, what key is that? The mastery key. What gene key number is that?
It's Majesty. That one's
Majesty. Okay.
55, 49.
I haven't a
No,
clue.
55.
No, it's not 55. Is
Yeah,
now
that's freedom.
Romance,
Gotcha.
the new one. Because he's got a new one for the city. For 55.
34.
34.
34. Okay. What's the shadow of the Majesty?
Force.
Force. Oh, yes. Oh, I do have the 34. I think. Yeah. I gotta look it up. I feel like it's a key I haven't really explored a whole lot.
Mm.
Mac, you have the 34 as well, don't you?
No, I don't have the 34, but I do have the 10s that relates to, in human design, it relates to the 20, the 34, and there's something else, there's 3 that relates to 20, 34, and something else. Can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of highlights those So there's aspects of that that come in and being a reflector. It means that, yeah.
Do you have the 20 maybe? The program?
No, I only have the 10 in that circuit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but
Mm.
it's the
I have
one
the
that is the only one that's got 3 attachments to it. Yeah. I can't
Is
remember.
the 10 the programming partner for the 34?
It's either no, 10 is 15. 15 is the program partner. I'm talking about human design. And do I have my human design chart somewhere? Um, not offhand, but yes. See, um, it's the 205734. All with 10. So it depends on which gate these are in, or the planets, or the sun, or the moon. So I kind of pick up in all of them. Where are we? Back to Zoom.
I have the 34 in my SQ.
No way.
Yeah, so if you ever want to explore that.
Maybe it'll come up when we discuss the clairs. That would be really interesting.
Mhm.
34. Cool. Well,
How many times have we going to be winding this up? And then something
yeah.
reminds me carry on. And I need to go to the loo, so I'm
Yeah.
going to say goodbye. And have
See you
something to
guys.
eat because I have another call
Yeah,
later. Can't remember what time.
the typical saying goodbye neurodivergent style. It's like pause, say another thing, pause, say another thing. It's like goodbye pebbling.
Goodbye, pebbling.
Oh my
And
goodness.
pebbling reminds me of being on a beach and picking up these beautiful pebbles
Yes.
and
Oh my
shells and
goodness.
things.
Yeah,
That's literally what I have right in front of me. It's a tray full of pebbles that from the
yeah.
beach.
Oh, nice. I really like that. I've got several bits and pieces. Or just when I'm walking and I've seen pebbles that I like, and one I really, really want is a hagstone. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna look that up. All right. Well, I hope you guys both have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you both for everything. This has been so much fun.
It has been fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.